Today on the Man in the Golden Suit, we have two middleweights that most of the people were asking questions about. Kawasaki ER-6N and MT-07. It's been nearly 10 years that Kawasaki launched this concept of ER6 family. They had this ER-6N, which looked like a Teletubby. They had this ER-6F with the small fairing, and others. This bike was ideal for newcomers, for returning bikers, for old-timers, for everybody. I mean, it has this smooth response on the throttle. It was really frugal on the fuel. It was really nice, except the looks. Then they acquired the old Kawasaki heritage of styling and looks, and it became a bit more muscular, and it became more refined in the meantime. Yamaha thought about it and said, well, they are eating the whole cake. Let's go in and have a party ourselves. And they designed this MT-07, the big surprise of 2014 from this piano maker. It is really aggressive on the front with this signature of this MT family, the small headlamp here, and the very tiny bodywork, and very nice and comfortable looks and styling and seating position. You see, it's only 80 centimeters from the ground, and it's really nice for even the shorties. Although it is a two-cylinder engine, it delivers its power on a punch. So you can wheelie it on the first gear. You can wheelie it on the second gear. Even you can try it on the third gear. It goes like hell. So it has this throttle response of being a bit demonic on the head. Not with the ER-6N. It is really friendly on the throttle. After riding these two bikes on the streets of Istanbul for quite some time, we thought, well, let's take them to track and see what happens. I've been a bit deceived on the track. I mean, I was expecting much more from MT-07 on the track, but this soft front suspension really gave me the feeling of the carpet being pulled out from beneath it. On the turn entry, when we were switching off the throttle and changing our direction by counter steering, at that time, we had this feeling of losing the front on most of the turns. So I can tell you that if you are planning to go on track with this bike, prepare yourself to be a bit, how to say, surprised on the bad sense. So you either have to change the oil inside the suspension or change the springs in the suspension, whatever. But you'll probably have to find a solution for that. Plus, I advise to take off the hero blobs on the pegs. If not, you'll be scraping them all the time. So it has really very low ground clearance for track use. But it's a perfect bike on the streets. Actually, we were expecting a lot less from Kawasaki on the track. With its firmer suspension, with its tubular chassis, it gave us this feeling of aiming and going wherever you want to go. So even on the turn entry or all on the turn exit, there were no problems with the Kawasaki ER-6N. So if you're planning to have a middleweight bike with a lot less money to spend in going to the odd track day a couple of times on a month, so maybe it will be wiser for you to choose the Kawasaki, not the MT-07. The bikes we reviewed here, this one does not have ABS. This one has. But surprisingly, I really could manage to put the ABS on work, especially on the back brake. I mean, because of this longer swing arm plus horizontally mounted rear shock, the ABS didn't work a lot. And I was really surprised with the brake performance of this bike. I mean, I wasn't expecting that much from a middleweight, from this, how to say, low budget bike. I mean, it is really, really, really cheap compared to Kawasaki. The instrument panel on the Kawasaki is a bit on the cheaper side. But on Yamaha, you can see everything. It has its own computer, onboard computer. It shows the gear. It shows whatever you want. On the consumption part, both of the bikes were consuming about 5.5 liters on normal use. And when we were going really, really fast, giving it a go, or pinning the throttle all the way, we could only manage about 8 liters on 100 kilometers. So both of them are consuming about the same. If you want to go for a bit heavier, a bit more expensive option, choose for Kawasaki. If you want to go a bit lunatic side and you'll only be using the bike in the cities, so choose the MT-07. You'll be quite happy. At least for us. Not for the Malaysian guys, but for us and also for the Europeans. Now, the thing is, in the last couple of years, Kawasaki had this 250